Hey guys, SeetherCord here, and welcome to our newest episode of my furry top 5/top 10 series here on YouTube. Today we're going to be continuing our journey of covering every major video game console's best list of furry-centered video games. And it is now finally time for us to move on to the Nintendo Wii, which is one of the best-selling gaming consoles of all time. I won't deny that finding the best furry-centered games for the system was very difficult because of the fact that this is actually my least favorite home Nintendo console. And the reason that I believe this is because the Wii suffered a lot of problems when it came to the motion control gimmick overstaying its welcome and making my gaming experience with the system less enjoyable over time. The system also suffered from having over 1,200 games and the fact that around 70% of the games released for the system are complete shovelware garbage that's unplayable, and that only about 10% of the games on the system were of actual quality. Some examples of this include Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Kirby's Epic Yarn, Zelda Twilight Princess, and Metroid Prime 3. The only really positive thing that I will give this system is that this system is one of the best when it comes to modding. You can play so many great ROM hacks, emulators, and fan games on the system. The only console that probably gives the Wii competition for best modding has to be the original Xbox. But still, even with a lot of the Wii's shortcomings, I did find 5 really great furry-centered Wii games that I would definitely recommend for you guys to check out. Let's begin. To start off this list at number 5, we're going to cover the only Disney game and also the only licensed game on this list. And that game is Disney's Epic Mickey. Epic Mickey is a platform game published by Disney Interactive Studios. The game is about Mickey Mouse accidentally damaging a world created by a wizard that was once created for forgotten characters and concepts, and it is up to him to save the world and battle enemies with a magical paintbrush. One of the major characters he encounters within the game is Oswald the Rabbit, which is one of Walt Disney's first successful characters he created back in the 1940s. One of the biggest aspects of this game is how the overall outcome of the game and its endings is determined over whether or not you help certain characters within the game, and it overall affects the ending. Another aspect of this game that many people bring up is its similarities to Super Mario Sunshine. The reason for this being that the paintbrush is very similar to the water jetpack in Sunshine. This game is also very well known and praised for its very touching story and art design, which definitely gives it a leverage with it also being faced with criticism over its gameplay due to the issues with controls in the camera. Overall, this is a pretty solid game that has garnered a cult following over the years and also spawned 2 sequels. Give this game a try if you are a furry who's also artistic and enjoys a good story. The next game on this list will star both one of the most iconic plus also most controversial video game characters of all time, and that character is Sonic the Hedgehog. The 3D era of Sonic games has always been controversial for having little to no genuinely solid games, with most of them consisting of mediocre to bad to really bad. But however, one of the few really good 3D Sonic games also happens to be a Nintendo Wii exclusive, and that game is Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors is a 2010 platforming game developed by the Sonic team of Sega. The game is about Sonic and Tails going to stop Dr. Eggman from creating his evil amusement park on the moon. Along the way, they encounter these creatures known as Wisps, and they give Sonic a lot of colorful alien-like abilities to use throughout the levels. What this game does right is that the Sonic team learned that their past mistakes from the previous 3D games in the franchise, and they avoided implementing new gameplay mechanics which usually don't work and stick to the good old formula that made people love the franchise in the first place, which was getting Sonic from point A to point B easily while running super fast. Another great aspect of this game is its graphics. It definitely lives up to its name both figuratively and literally by having beautiful levels painted in these bright and warm colors. It's beautiful. Definitely play this game if you want a solid 3D Sonic game. For number 3 on this list, we're now finally into the Nintendo titles. And that game is Animal Crossing City Folk. This game is a direct sequel to the original Animal Crossing game on the Nintendo GameCube. One of the few criticisms that this game has received was how it didn't really add anything new to the franchise, and just pretty much felt like the first game, just however only being on the Wii. But still, even with that, this game has a lot of charm, is overly adorable, and welcoming to all ages. The game is also very relaxing and can still provide a very fun time to fans of life simulation games. Definitely give this game a try if you want to have a fun and relaxing time to help you de-stress. For number 2 on this list, we have the last Nintendo furry game sadly, but it is one that definitely hits it right out of the park. And that game is Donkey Kong Country Returns. This game is the next installment in the Donkey Kong Country franchise and the first one to have no involvement with Rare at all. who originally developed the first 3 Donkey Kong Country games for the Super Nintendo, and also Donkey Kong 64 from the Nintendo 64. This game was instead developed by Retro Studios. This game knocks it out of the park when it comes to recreating the epic and extreme fun of the original Donkey Kong Country games from about over a decade ago. With it sticking to its side-scrolling gameplay, it provides multiple hours of fun and overall challenge to keep the series fresh in our minds to this very day, and definitely gives the series a new modern look and feel to it. Other great aspects of this game have to be its amazing music as well as great graphics and controls. Definitely give this game a try if you want a fun challenge. And now finally, for the number 1 Wii game on this list, I have to get a little more serious here, because this game means a lot more to me than most other games on this list. The number 1 best Furry Wii game can arguably be more considered a PlayStation 2 game rather than for the Wii, but to me, I grew up with the Wii version of this game and I absolutely fell in love with it from the beginning. And this game is none other than Okami. Okami is an action-adventure game developed by Capcom. The game is set sometime in classical Japanese history. It combines several Japanese myths, legends, and folklore to tell the story of how the land was saved from darkness by the Shinto sun goddess, named Amaterasu, who took the form of a white wolf. One of the best aspects of this game has to be its art style. This game has true beauty expressed through its cel-shaded art style. I also really love its many homages to Japanese folklore. The game's soundtrack is very charming and beautiful to where I've spent many hours of my life just listening to the soundtrack over and over again. The gameplay is also heavily inspired by the Legend of Zelda franchise, which also happens to be my favorite video game franchise of all time. Overall, if you give this game a shot, you will in no way be disappointed. Don't just play this game if you're a furry. If you are a gamer, then this is easily one of the best games on the Wii and is also, in my opinion, one of the best games ever made. And if you don't really have any retro video game consoles, this game lives on in its HD remaster known as Okami HD, which is available for Steam, PS3, Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Please play this game. More people need to play it. And that pretty much wraps up my list of the top 5 best Furry Wii games and also finishes up this video for today. How do you guys feel about my choices for the best Furry Center Wii games? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Is there any other Furry Center Wii games you guys would recommend? Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you enjoy my content and want to further help out my channel, please consider donating to me on Patreon and my Ko-fi, hitting that like button, turning on that notification bell, and subscribing altogether. I have been SeetherCord and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye everyone. Thank God we're finally finishing the game, unlike aka Alex, like aka Little Stop Plays, never finishing Wind Waker. Anyways.